Fingers crossed. I've got a special thing to share with you. I haven't told anyone in this community yet. I got a TEDx pre-interview. I've already had it just a few days ago, and it was wonderful. It was a really great experience, and I wanted to share it with everyone at the same time. Um, You're all so special to me and have a different place in our history together. And many of you know how important this is because it's a completion of something that I've been moved to do. And it just needs to be the right fit because my topic is I just want to get the wording right for you. Why we're dead wrong about death. So, this interview, in order to get the interview, you share a proposal, which is about 12 or 15 pages, I think. I haven't printed it out in a while, but it's long. And so I wanted to share different material than was exactly in the proposal because they can read the proposal. So I told them about the brain surgery that I had in 2014. And I hadn't thought about that as a preparation for death. And some of you have heard parts of this story, but not everybody heard this part because I hadn't thought of it until this week, or maybe it was last week. So, in preparing for a very delicate surgery, it was supposed to be about 6 hours. It ended up being 14. But it was a very delicate surgery, and any brain surgery, uh, everybody knows it could go south. So I said goodbye to my friends and family and to thank them for my life and their part in my life. But there was another dynamic going on, and that was I had a brain tumor, but the symptom was trigeminal neuralgia. And if you've heard of it, you also know it's called the suicide syndrome because you get electrical impulses, and they can be all day, it could be all night, it could be every second, it could be every 10 minutes. It's kind of painful, but it's electrical. You don't sleep, you don't, you can't finish anything. It's very, very disturbing. Some of you have heard a little bit of this story on YouTube, um, on that channel. But getting back to TEDx, um, I realized because of the pain and the electrical that was going on, I let go of living in a certain kind of way. Those of you who are familiar with the phrase or the term attachment, I let go of living in a certain way. I could not wait for the surgery. I was so looking forward to it. And I didn't tell people, but I was okay to die. It was so hard to live. I was really okay to die. I was not suicidal. I wouldn't have done anything to kill myself, but I was, either way, I was ready and I really let go. There was not a single percentage of me that wanted more living, more love, more experiences, more anything. I was ready to be done. if it meant living with this electrical situation. And guess what? This incredible freedom, meaning an expansiveness that had no connection to getting, no connection to a great thing that happened. You know, a lot of time we feel elation or excitement about some new event we're looking forward to, or a new getting, or some kind of new news, or something in the world. This was not about anything, no achievement, no success, no good news. You know, freedom is a hard word to describe, but one of the best ways to describe it is the absence of suffering. Even though I still had the trigeminal neuralgia and I was facing brain surgery, I was so elated in a non-descriptive way, you know, not about anything, just free, just happy, but not happy about anything. It's, you know, all these words like freedom, elation, uh, letting go attachments, they sound so theoretical, but there really is a very physical, emotional, connected, real part of those words. And that's what I'm aiming with these musings, to bring us all to connect with the words that actually mean something and let us find our ways together. So the interview went really, really well because the person doing the interviewing had his own personal experience with death. And he never thought of death being part of life. And I just take it for granted when I say things like that, that everybody might consider that or have considered it. But I see now that it's a new thought for some. So I mean, we say life cycle, and it starts with birth and it ends with death. But death isn't separate. What if we considered death as part of life? Would we so dread it in its natural form without something like trigeminal or cancer or some medical issue, which has suffering involved, but so does life. Life has suffering involved. Why do we pretend that life is great and death sucks? What if it was all part of living? You're born, you get skills, your body grows, it gets bigger, it develops, then it declines and goes back to its earliest stages of not being able to do things. And what if it just is? It's neither bad nor good, it just is. And it's nothing to resist or fight against. How might you live with death? Everybody's going to die, even if you take age-defying vitamins, age-defying creams, or you get plastic surgery to look like the new 40 or whatever you do physically. You're still going to die sometime. So wouldn't it be great if we stopped as a culture resisting it? It's like breathing. You breathe in You breathe out. One is not better. Breathing in is not better than breathing out. They just are part of the whole deal. And it's just our perceptions, our stories about death that make life everything and death so bad. Which of us can say that life doesn't include suffering? So if you're to say, well, I just don't want to suffer, well, you're suffering when you live too, if you're honest or if you're willing to look. So, and we don't have control over it. That's one of the reasons we resist so much. We prefer things we can control. So this is leading up to, fingers crossed, that I get to share on the TEDx stage more about this, because I have a method to bring to the audience, and maybe I'll share it here with you next time. But I'm thinking now of changing the title from Musings to Living and Dying with Empowerment, because it's the name of my YouTube channel. It's very much part of my brand. And everything I talk about in Musings from the very beginning has been living and dying with empowerment. I just wasn't calling it that. And now it makes sense to me to include it in my brand and get ready for TEDx talk, because I think it's going to happen. I feel it's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, I will be good with that too, because I've had a marvelous experience so far. The interview was fantastic, and I can't wait to share it all with you more in our next episode. So now look for a title change: Living and Dying with Empowerment.